have a slight addiction to shiny paint jobs. Okay, maybe a major one. And not even my tower safe. So let's add a ship to my Goldfish towel and turn this Hammerhead into a fiery golden masterpiece. My name's MJ and welcome back to Mossy Minis. So I'm gonna deviate from my normal plain white primer and add a touch of orange to help my pearl coat on the next layer pop. I'm using the Mobius 0.3 from Gallery. You can click on the link down below or use code MJ and get a sweet 10% off. The primer is my old reliable matte white from Monument Hobbies, also linked down below, with a goodish amount of, I'm totally gonna butcher this, Magma Droth Flame. Feel free to flame me in the comments. Now that it's very orange, I'm gonna add a pearl coat. This one's from Shuttle Art. Any pearl coat will do. This one's like $1.50 and has a very wide color range and consistent results. Okay, time for the lowrider treatment. Lots of shading, some color shift, and flashy gold. It is my favorite combo to do on vehicles, so let's get into the shading part. To really push those shadows without losing the orange, I'm going in with some straight from the pot ball red, and every single low point I can find is getting a shadow. For the high points, we've got Bad Moon Yellow. And the same process as before, every high point is getting a little yellow. I'll blend it all out with my mid-tones and my color shift in a bit. Also, now would be a great time to like, comment, and hopefully hit that subscribe button. Thank you. I managed to not hit record in what I'll blame as a painting flow state, but I did a quick pass of Radiation Glow by Army Painter to boost the orange and soften my blends. Then all of that got topped with Afterburner by Turbo Dork. As you can see now, I'm applying a kind of thick rattle can gloss coat. That's my secret to realistic lowrider paint jobs. I use stuff you can get from the hardware store. It's just Rust-Oleum 2 times coverage and gloss clear. Anything in a similar formula will get the job done. Okay, now that the gloss is dry, I'm gonna lay down a base of white acrylic ink. You could use a thinned out matte white, so I can get some glowing neon yellow panel lines. So to get that neon yellow haze, I'm going with Bad Moon's Yellow at about 10 psi with no needle cover, so that I have full control over where all this yellow is going, hopefully. This is also the process I use on my lowrider Eldar. Go check them out over on Insta if you haven't already. With all the neon done, let's move on to the metallic details. The brushes I'm using today are from the kind folks over at Gilded Goblin. These were gifted, but I gave them a full test run. If you want to grab a pair, use code MALLIUM10 at checkout for 10% off, or click the link down below. First, I'm starting with Shining Silver from Army Painter on these, I guess, exhaust vents. I don't understand anything mechanical or anything like that in the Warhammer universe. I just like to paint models. My husband does the lore questions. I'm also just gonna put the same color into any of the other vent areas that I see. I feel like it's an appropriate color. Again, this is not going to be a lore accurate paint job by any means. This is for fun, and I know that there's people out there, because I've gotten the comments already. I get it. It's not your thing. High gloss might not be your favorite, but I like it, and it makes me happy. Now moving on to smaller details, using the metallic markers from Gallery for a wider variety of warm gold and copper tones. You can see here I'm using Scorched Gold on the rims of all the exhaust vents or air intakes. Again, I don't know. I like to use these either straight from the marker or put them on my palette because sometimes you need to use a fine brush for smaller details. You can find the link for these down below if you happen to like them after watching this video. No pressure. I switched over to using the aluminum color in the markers instead of the shining silver because it wasn't sticking that well to the plastic. It's on my palette down below. I'm just using a brush to put it on because there's no way I'm getting a marker tip on all these little pieces of vent. Not happening. Okay, so for the brightest details, a fun paint is coming out. These are the pure metal pigments from Green Stuff World. I do have them linked down below. I love them. It's the brightest gold I've ever been able to find that's not an alcohol-based formula. I mix it with a little bit of, as you can see, paint thinner, or you can mix it with water, and I just mix it very lightly, powder and thinner on the back of my hand till I get a consistency I like. I'm gonna take this and just do all the little teeny tiny details so they have a bright gold pop on them. All right, back to paint. Okay, so I've laid out all the paints I'm using, so now just sit back, relax for a couple minutes while I detail paint, and we'll get to the next big step in a few minutes. Okay, now let's paint the, I'm gonna call it landing gear. So let's pick a metallic. We have a lot. This is a shared bin. So I think I'm gonna go with Lead Belcher for today. And right about here is when I go to open it. Yep, rusty, crusty, dried paint. Should have known when I picked up the bottle. So instead, I'm gonna go with Iron Warriors. It's a little darker than I wanted, but I can lighten it up later with a little bit of dry brushing. All is not lost. I also decided to add it to a couple more spots to tie it in so it doesn't stick out as much on just the landing gear. Alright, we're in final details. I'm going to lighten up all that Iron Warriors with the shining silver. And now I'm going to go in with oil stains and darken up all those silvery patches just to give them a little more wear and tear. We're not going heavy, grim dark. We're just going, been around for a little bit. I kind of decided last minute I wanted these vents to also be in the shining silver, so I'm just going to paint those up and they'll get oil stains later once they're dry. I'm not going to wait around and record that. You'll see it in the end. So there's like a million tail light, indicator light things all over this guy. So I'm just going to take ball red, dot it on every single one of them, call it a day. Can you tell I'm starting to get a little bit burnt out with this? I forgot how long these lowrider paint jobs take me, even though they're very simple. It's just so many steps and waiting in between. When that's done, I'm gonna just pop off camera for a few minutes, do a little bit of touch-ups, and we'll head on over to the reveal. See you in a second. Thank you for sticking with me through this whole thing. Every like, comment, share, and subscribe gets us a little further down that road to 500 subscribers. I'll see you in the next one.